in Lebanon, where it's been 54 days since the start of Israel's military offensive. Now, its forces, they've bombed thousands of homes, mostly in the southern and eastern parts of the country. More than 3,600 people have been killed and thousands injured. More than 1 million people have been displaced. At least 4 people have been killed and many others injured after missiles flattened the residential building in the central Beirut suburb of Bassa early on Saturday morning. It's only about 2 kilometers from Lebanon's parliament. Since Israel's offensive against Hezbollah began, it's rarely targeted the center of the capital, instead focusing mostly on the southern suburb. There's also been intense airstrikes in the south of the country. Ali Hashim joins us now live from the south. And Ali, you've just seen a strike very close to your position. Tell us what's coming under attack there.
Indeed, Sami, just behind me. This is, just 20, 30 meters from where we're standing. A drone targeted a couple of fishermen, and they were immediately killed. We saw this with our eyes. It was just in front of everyone here. I don't know if you're showing the pictures. And of course, this is just part of pattern of strikes that has been taking place over the past weeks here in Tyre and also extending towards Beirut's southern suburb and the Bekaa. Now, here in Tyre, yesterday, there have been several airstrikes hitting different places, including the city itself, the outskirts. And since this dawn, since 2 a.m., around 2 a.m., we started hearing loud artillery shelling. And artillery was already covering this whole area, mainly the coastline. And this, of course, is related not just to the air cover that the Israelis are doing with respect also to the shelling on the other side, but also to the ground operation that the Israelis have already started 54 days ago.
And Ali, talking about that ground operation, how far are Israeli ground forces actually pushing from the border at this point?
Well, it seems overnight the Israelis were able to push towards Al-Bayada, because we've been seeing from here, from where we're standing, fierce engagement between Hezbollah fighters and the Israelis. At least we documented 2 launches of anti-tank guided missiles towards Israeli tanks in Al-Bayada. Now, with the Israelis having these positions on Al-Bayada, it seems they are heading now to cut off the coastal line towards Naqoura. And this is one of the objectives. By taking Naqoura, just in case we were able to, or they are able to, in parallel with the operation that's already going on the eastern side, the eastern sector in Khiyam, because they're pushing towards Khiyam. They're already fighting Hezbollah forces. There's intensive battles there. And they're also trying to encircle the city, which is a major city on the border. Now, if they take Al-Khiyam and Naqoura, then the whole borderline will be under Israeli control, and then they can start emphasizing the second phase, which might extend between 5 and 7 kilometers from the border.
All right, thanks so much to Ali Hashim there, reporting to us from the south of Lebanon. Let's take this to Zain Basrawi. He joins us from the Lebanese capital. Zain, we've been talking about strikes on Basta in the center of Beirut, a very densely populated area. How much devastation have those strikes caused?
Well, very quickly, Sammy, in the last hour or so, we've gotten yet another threat from the Israeli military, another forced evacuation order focusing on the southern suburbs of Beirut, 2 neighborhoods, Al-Hadath and Shuaifat. And those were the areas around which there were multiple strikes yesterday. We're expecting more to be carried out later today after that new threat. Now, coming to the central part of Beirut and the attack this morning. It was a highly concentrated area, which means lots of buildings. It was densely populated, which means lots of people. It was early morning, pre-dawn at around 4 a.m., which means in this residential area, people were at home, most likely sleeping and in their beds. So we are expecting the number of dead and the number of injured to continue to go up throughout the day. There is rescue crews. Volunteers are on the site. They are carrying out whatever they can do to dig through the rubble, to look for survivors, most likely recovering bodies. Now, this happened in the central part of Beirut, close to the waterfront, close to popular hotspots and tourist areas, hotels and restaurants. So this attack is truly at the heart of the center of the capital of Lebanon here in Beirut. And there is a tense environment as a result. Yesterday we were speaking to people, and overhead you could hear drones flying throughout the day, something that has become a staple sound as part of the humdrum of this city. And what people started to say is that it is getting louder, which means they're flying at a lower altitude, which means they're hunting for a target. And then you saw the events of this morning. And once again this morning, we can hear the drones flying overhead at low altitudes.
And Zain, where does this intensification of strikes leave all the recent talk of a US brokered ceasefire deal?
Well, quite plainly, I'll tell you what one man here in Beirut said, which is Israel is playing with us, that they are not interested in a ceasefire, that it is unlikely to happen, that they will not stop their aggression. This is all just political theater. What Israel is saying, what the United States is saying, the shuttle diplomacy between Beirut and Tel Aviv by the U.S. Special Envoy. They say that this is all just part of what the U.S. and Israel have done in the past. We've seen this happen. Anytime there are ceasefire talks or anytime the U.S. seems close to a breakthrough, Israel undermines their own ally by intensifying strikes, by carrying out targeted assassinations. We saw that in the case of Ismail Haniyeh, the Hamas leader. We saw that in the case of Yahya Sinwar. Hassan Nasrallah, the Hezbollah commander, was taken out, and a number of other senior commanders and leaders of Hamas and Hezbollah, the groups with which Israel and the United States are trying to broker some kind of stall in this fighting. There's been a lot of speculation that the attack this morning in Basra was targeting yet another senior leader of Hezbollah. No confirmation of that yet, but it does fit a pattern of behavior that Israel carries out that people here say is political theater between the U.S. and Israel playing out using missiles that are targeting Arab communities.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much to Zain Basravi.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.